Hello, everybody. It is Friday, the 20th of February, and I want to talk about the truth of Jesus. What he did, what he said, what his intention was, the intended outcome. Okay? And Jesus was not agnostic. Okay? Absolutely not agnostic. What he did was based on Hermetic knowledge. He was not agnostic. Now, let me just say one more time about Gnosticism. This whole idea about Yaldabaoth, about the energy vampires, about the badness of this world, created by an evil creator God, okay? The Gnostics themselves said Yaldabaoth was deluded. He was ignorant and he was deluded. What he said was a falsehood. What he believed about himself was a falsehood, was not real. He was in a delusion. He is not the creator of all. The one creator of all does not exist. Such a being does not exist. So the belief of Yaldabaoth about himself and about everything around him is a delusion. The only thing that makes that thing real is your belief. Yeah? You believe that there is one that has complete power over you and that you are powerless in this world because he created it. It is your belief in that makes it real, and you will experience it. But you are creating that through your belief. It was never real to start with. Now I'm saying there are beings out there that proclaim themselves to be the only one, the only way. I believe they exist. Again, that is a falsehood. That is a delusion. They are deluded. But if you believe, if you follow that teaching, you become part of the delusion, and honestly, you are an archon. If that is what you believe, you are an archon. You have become an archon. You were a human being, you became an archon. The follower of the one false God. Because you believe that he is real, that he is what he claims to be. And that he is the creator of this reality. That is your belief. That gives power to the delusion. Or gives power to any being that claims to be that. You are giving your power to them. You're strengthening them. It's not they're sucking the energy out of you, you're giving it. Through your belief, you are giving of your energy. So that is Gnosticism, and Jesus was not agnostic. Now, and all the other idiots at the moment, the New Age spaced out twats. Oh, Jesus left this realm, he left the flesh, he became a fluttering being of light. No, he did not. He did none of those things. Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about Jesus, then please read the Bible and see what it says. Because this is a spiritual teaching. And it will lead, as every spiritual teaching does, will lead. It is the way to an intended outcome. It is showing the way, the spiritual path to an intended outcome. And the intended outcome was not leaving the flesh. Because that is not what happened in the end. What happened is a bit far out. And whether you want to believe that or not, that is, again, absolutely up to you. but we must be clear about what it is we're talking about and what the intended outcome actually is. If you're going on a path, you need to see what the intended outcome is, because that is what will happen to you, because this is real. You are the outcome of any spiritual teaching. You are the outcome. Do you want to find yourself in that place that you're going to? Then be very clear about what the place actually is. So Jesus wanted everybody to get out of this world. Jesus healed the sick. Jesus resurrected the dead. They resurrected the dead. They reunited spirit and body. Why the hell would they go around doing that if they want everybody out of the body? It's a bit counterproductive, wouldn't it be? Oh, I want everybody to leave this world, so as soon as they drop dead, I bring them back. What the hell are you talking about? That is what he did. Open your eyes to the truth. Hear the truth. Open your ears. That is what this path says. It's bringing the dead back into the body. That was the path. As for himself, Jesus crucified the flesh, and he again became a fluttering being of light. The body walked out of the tomb. That was the resurrection. I'm sorry, folks. What are you listening to? What are you not hearing? What is not sinking in here? The body walked out of the tomb. Luke. Okay, let me read this again. Okay? This is what this book says. This is the outcome of the path, of the way. This is the outcome. This is the intended outcome. Okay? This is what they were trying to achieve. And in a way they did it. I think there's a small problem with that. I'll come to that in the end, but they did it. According to the book, they did it. Whether you want to believe that or not, again, it's up to you. But when you talk about Jesus, please speak about the truth that he taught. And don't make up bloody stories that he never said. He never did. Luke. Okay, this is after the resurrection. He's coming to his disciples. And they're sitting together after the resurrection. Okay? And here, now listen to this, please. This is Luke 24. The disciples are in a room. They're talking about what happened. Luke 24, starting at 36. And as they thus spake, Jesus himself stood in the midst of them and said unto them, Peace be unto you. But they were terrified and affrighted, and supposed that they had seen a spirit. They thought he was spirit. Okay? And he said unto them, Why are ye troubled? And why do thoughts arise in your hearts? Behold my hands and my feet, that it is I myself. Handle me, and see, for a spirit has not flesh and bones, as ye see me have. He was in a solid body. And when he had just spoke, he shewed them his hands and his feet. And whilst they yet believed not for joy and wonder, he said unto them, Have ye here any meat? And they gave him a piece of broiled fish and a honeycomb. And he took it, and he ate before them. And he said unto them, These are the words which I spake unto you, whilst I was yet with you, that all things must be fulfilled, which were written in the law of Moses, and the prophets, and the Psalms, concerning me. He did not get out of the flesh. That was the entire point. That is the point of healing. That is the point of resurrection, the point of resurrecting the dead. The point of resurrecting the dead is obviously not to get out of the body. It was the union of the divine and the flesh to become one. And what was corruptible will become incorruptible, which is obviously the flesh. Becoming incorruptible through the union of the divine, of the higher vibration and the lower vibration. What Jesus did was to reconcile the polarities within himself, to bring the whole turmoil inside that is caused by the polarities into peace, into a state of peace, where they no longer fight each other. And out of that state of peace comes the state of true being. I am. That is the creation of yourself. The reconciliation of the polarities and the peace within yourself is a state of true being then. And that is a being in the flesh. That is what he achieved. That is what they tried, and that is what they achieved. They brought heaven to earth. They brought heaven to earth. They reunited heaven and earth. Not getting out. You want to get out, please go into the Eastern teachings. They will show you. They're all trying to get off the fucking wheel. So, sorry, pardon my French. They all get off the wheel. That's what you want, go there. That is not what Jesus did. And do not use his name in a false way. Do not mix them up. Do not make a Jesus that is according to your desires. He was what he was, and he did what he did. And that was his truth. That is his way. Whether you want to go there or not is a different question. He did not get out of the flesh. And now we come to the last bit, and here is where things become a bit far out. And that is the ascension. Again, he ascended in the flesh. He went up to heaven in front of their eyes. Yeah? Whatever happened there. Again, he did not leave in the spirit. Yeah? There was not a Jesus spirit ascending to heaven and a dead Jesus body lying on the ground. They did not bury him twice. He took the body. The entire body went. That is what the story says. And he took the body where? To New Jerusalem. He brought them the book of life. He opened the book of life for them. What is the book of life? The body. He brought the body. He brought the book of life. So here's the thing, that from the beginning, the consciousness that came to earth, that became Jesus, was obviously not from here. It did not originate here. He said that over and over and over again. My Father, whose kingdom is not of this world. The kingdom of his Father is New Jerusalem, as it's shown in the book of the Revelation in the end, because it comes to earth. So you had a consciousness, a spirit, that was different from human, an extraterrestrial spirit, say it like that. And I would say there are many that are born into this world that are not of this world, but and that find it hard because they are different from this world. But again, Jesus reconciled the differences within himself. He came into agreement with the flesh, which is consciousness of its own. It's a consciousness of this world. He came into the agreement with his flesh. They became one. And then the flesh went, I don't know where, to that other kingdom. That is what the story says. That is what the story says. So don't go around talking bullshit about Jesus, a spirit, and left the flesh. No, he did not. Now, whether you want to achieve union with the flesh, that's up to you. That is up to you. But don't say Jesus takes me out of this world, because he doesn't. The way of Jesus is the way into being a flattering spirit. It's not. That is not what he taught. That was never the intention. The intention is the union. The reconciliation of opposites to become one and create a being. Flesh and spirit one. That was his way. That was the intended outcome, and according to this book, he achieved it. And even more so because his spirit was not human to start with. That is the story of Jesus. That is his teaching. And that is definitely not being agnostic. And that is not New Age. And that is not Eastern. This is a teaching that is very specific, its own thing. And that is what it says. You say you follow Jesus, that's where he was going. And then start thinking if that is actually where you want to go, or to what amount do you want to go there. Do you want to make it permanent? Personally, I wouldn't. But that's my take on this. But to at least achieve the union between body and spirit to the point that the flesh can be healed. That things can be done in this world through the power of the spirit. To that point I would follow. As I said, I reject the cross and the permanence of it. Because then you would really create a prison. That is if that is eternal, then you would have created an eternal prison, but to my mind. But at least the union between spirit and flesh to the point that you can work something with it. Healing. Resurrection, if you want to. So that is the truth of Jesus. That is what he taught. He did not teach out of the body. He taught the union between flesh and spirit. I say there are many pathways. There are many spiritual teachings which are pathways to outcomes. Where is it you want to go? What is it you want to achieve? Then see the teaching and show and see where it is taking you, where it claims to take you. what the outcome is, because you're going there. Do it with your eyes open. The one thing I must say, which is why I would follow Jesus to a point, not to the cross, but to the union in this world, to achieve healing and stuff like that. That is, if we could do that other story of Yaldabaoth, the deluded, false creator God, that story would have no power over us, because we would know ourselves as healers, as beings that can move things on the spirit. We would be extremely powerful. And if that were our intention goes, if that creates our reality, after a while, the false story of Yaldabaoth would fade away. It would have no more power in this world. Why it has power is because people are not going on the path of Jesus. They're not giving to each other. They have no compassion for themselves or for each other. You're not going on this path. That is the way that would save you. But you're not going on it. Instead, you believe yourself to be powerless, that you need to get out of the body, and that there's an evil creator God that has power over you. It is your belief that makes it so. You create the reality that you're in. And it was false to start with. It was a lie to start with. The one creator God that is all powerful does not exist. The only power he has is the power that you give him through your belief. This is what you really are. This is what you really are. And for that, you have not to reject the flesh, but to find a way to create a union. And then healing will occur. Now, shit will still happen. Shit happens in the world, always does. Shit will happen in every world, in every reality. Especially if a lot of different levels of consciousness, with different needs, with different aims, have to share the same space, which we call a world. Yeah? It is going to be difficult. Shit will happen. What Jesus taught you is that when shit happens, you can deal with it. He didn't say it's going to be a perfect world. He said when shit happens, you will be able to deal with it. You can correct it. What is broken can be fixed. What is sick can be healed. You can deal with the situation. That is what he taught. Again, do you want to go there? Many different teaching, many pathways, many different outcomes. Choose. You have a choice. It's not all leading to the same place. It's not all one great oneness. Reality is made up of many, 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 many possibilities. And you have a choice. So choose your way. But when you speak about Jesus, then please talk about what he actually taught. And don't pin his label on this, that, or the other. He was a very specific something with a very specific path. Go on that path, believe on that path, do what you want. You have choice. You have free will. But stop telling lies about Jesus. Anyway, here I leave it at that for today. And I talk to you again soon. Bye.